So based on what I told you about functionalism before, if you had to give me your best definition of functionalism, what would you say?
So that's how every part of society functions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, so even like criminals increase the functional ability of society because they give policemen jobs.
Perfect. You got it down. So the David Moore theory takes functionalism, which you just described awesomely, and it combines it with stratification. So if you had to give me a definition of stratification based on your notes and what you've been learning in class, what would you say?
I would say it's the kind of like diversity, like the different jobs, like how there is a variation between garbage men and policemen, and even, I don't know if this is accurate, but like race, like like upper class, middle class, lower class, blacks, whites, Asians, just like all the variety we have in society.
Perfect. Yeah, no, stratification does not just apply to money and class. It applies to gender, it applies to race, ethnicity, culture, anything. And the reason why is because all stratification is a range of power going from low to high. Whether that's low class to high class, low income to high income, what are considered the lower races, which of course we don't agree with in here, we're just doing for the sake of researching. So we combine these two. So now that we've done this, if you had to combine these, that does not work. If you had to combine these two for me, tell me the master definition of this theory you would give me.
So how the range of power functions.
Yep, you're almost there. How the range of power has a function. So you just missed that. So how is it functional? That is what the David Moore theory says. That's the question it seeks to answer. How is stratification functional? And the answer they came up with was that we need to have lower or higher jobs because different people meet different qualifications. A high school dropout meets the need for fast food workers or garbage men because that is what they are qualified to do. Somebody who got their master's degree in college is qualified to do much higher jobs, much higher power jobs. And so they say, okay, if you go to college and you put all that work into being that qualified, do you feel that you deserve more money than the person that dropped out of high school? Yeah. Do you feel that you deserve more status than the person that dropped out of high school? Yes. You feel like to a certain extent you're more educated, so you deserve more. You put more work in, so you need to get more back out. So that is the function of having the higher power jobs, is that they have to be that high for people to take them. Because if there's just as much status and money in being a doctor as there is being a garbage man, then who's going to want to take the time to study to be a doctor? I mean, hopefully good people that want to help people, but I mean, on the grand scheme of things, nobody. If you can get the same amount of money and the same amount of status and the same amount of power for doing less work, then why bother doing more? So they said it's functional to have this because we need people that match every job. So there needs to be a range because there's a range of people. And then we need to say at the same time, there needs to be low and high in order to create a functional division of labor. So essentially, if everybody had multi-million-dollar jobs like CEOs or, there would be no status or power in being a CEO. There would be no point to having CEOs. Now, if everybody was low at the same time and everybody just had the paycheck of somebody who works at McDonald's, then our economy would fail. And so what we say is we need stratification in order to keep the division of labor intact and functional, because you need the people that qualify for the high jobs and you need the people that qualify for the low jobs. So what we do is, this mostly applies to money when we do this, but you could also apply it to other things. Gender, for example, you could say, how is stratification of gender functional? Well, you know, we understand that it's created these equality differences, and therefore women, you know, feel the need to, it is a function of them to fight for their race, or, you know, men feel the function of being in a patriarchal society, or anything like that. You can apply it to anything as long as you understand that what it's saying is we need a range of power to keep the society functional. Does that make sense? All right. Any questions on it?
So how would you need, like, why do we need a range of power with gender to keep the society functional?
So if there was just that everybody was completely equal, which technically we are, but if there was not like these gender roles that got put into place, then there would be an epic confusion of who was supposed to do what. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Gender's a little harder to argue. Like I said, jobs and income, this is the easiest one that we want to apply it to. And this is what it's more meant to be applied to. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other ones?
So can you apply functionalism, like, to something else besides money and gender?
You mean this specifically, this functionalism and stratification? Yeah. You can apply functionalism to anything in society because it's one of the macro theories. But when we mix up functionalism and stratification, it's kind of hard because this is the only one that I agree with. Like that this is a functional thing. Because with race, I at the same time say, I don't understand why some races have to be ranked lower than other races to make society functional. Because I don't think that's fair, you know. Yeah. So I know that it can be argued, but like I said, at the same time, this really is the main one we try to argue. And this was the main one David Moore argued. And then different people try to apply it to different things, but.
Okay, so on the test,
it'll be with money, yeah.
Okay.
So money and labor. So like, how hard do you have to work to get where you get somewhere? And the reason is, like we said, because you earn those jobs like doctor and CEO. And if there was no status or power or money attached to that, then you wouldn't feel the need to do the work. You wouldn't feel the need to earn it. All right?
So what's an example of a question they would ask about that?
I could see them saying something like, almost like a term and definition question. So like, what does the David Moore theory mean about division of labor? And then you would say something like, out of, I'm hoping it's multiple choice, is that right?
Yeah.
It would be something like, well, it creates a functional division of labor based on the work needed to go into each position, because we need to have the ranking of powers and jobs, because then it gives the people that are on lower levels something to strive for, and it gives the people that are on higher levels something that they had to earn. Okay?
Awesome.
So one more time, explain this back to me in your own words. That way I know you got it down.
Okay, so David Moore theory deals with how everything has a function because there is a range of power, or how the range of power functions. How the range of power functions. Yes. So stratification is functional because there's a lower and higher jobs. So like, if you didn't have the need to, like, if there wasn't such a motivation behind becoming a doctor, people wouldn't put in all the schooling, but because there's more power and prestige and status and money that comes with that title, people work for that. And also, it's like a qualification thing, so like, you have to be qualified, and like, if you're not qualified, you automatically do get a lower job. And so, it functions because like, if everybody had a high job, there would be no high jobs, and if everybody had a low job, our society would crumble, like the economy would fail.
Perfect. So the end goal is that we have a balanced society. Perfect. You got it down.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's so much better than like reading my frantically scribbled notes.